in case you forgot or didn't know, I wrote a singles devotional, and it's called Singleness, a Gift from God. And so this is not a guide to how to get a man or a guide to how to get a woman, but it's prepare you and redirect your focus on today, on the present, on your current purpose, because you're not waiting, those of you who are single, for someone to arrive. Now, of course, there's a certain level of purpose that is birthed through kingdom marriages, okay? Your marriage, it has a purpose beyond procreation, of course, and the wedding and the dress and all of those different things. However, God has a plan and a purpose for your life right now in this season. Being single is not your identity, all right? It's just a season or a status. We always talk about marriage and how that is symbolic of, Christ's love for the church, but you rarely hear how singleness speaks to God in the church. So I go into that too, and I share with you as singles what you are saying to the world, how you are showing how your sufficiency and your trust is in God. You are speaking something loud and clear, and it's not giving lonely, it's not giving weak, is not giving I'm about to fall apart. Your singleness, how you have certain advantages, and I wouldn't say that being married is a disadvantage. It's not a disadvantage, okay? God is going to use whatever the state of your life is, all right? And so if you're single, you have a certain level of freedom. Reiterate what Paul says a lot of, because I'm one who, I love my marriage. I have a beautiful marriage, and I'm just blessed. But I'm so glad that I took that time of being single as well. And during the wait, I didn't just sit and was just looking out the door, or every man that walked into church was like, is this him? Is this him? I was focused on God, the things of God, and God, what do you want me to do? Being someone who used to be a serial dater before God delivered me, and always being in a relationship, I didn't know God, I didn't know myself. And so this was a time to learn about myself, to learn, know of God. And it got to a point where I said, God, I could stay single for the rest of my life. Some of you are not there, and you don't have to be there. It's not wrong to desire to be married, okay? And so, but I had come to such a place of contentment and satisfaction and desire and hungering for God, that I said, if this is your will, even though I knew it wasn't, he had to remind me, like, no, I have a husband for you. I have a purpose connected to that marriage. However, during this time, you have a certain level of freedom. That reminds me, I take a moment to speak to singles who have children, because I feel that sometimes singles who have children, that's going to look a bit different for you, but there's still a level of freedom. There's still a level of service and a great purpose that God has for you. And sometimes when you're just waiting for what's next, and thinking that you can only be used by God when a spouse comes, or when this happens, or when money comes, or all that, you don't realize the blessed state that you are in now, and what you have now, and how God can use you, and how God can send you now. All right. And so that's what I bring back to your minds in this book. And so the truth about purity, because another thing that I noticed coming into the kingdom as a single is just this emphasis on, all you think about is not having sex. All you think about is, I don't want to do wrong. I don't want to kiss nobody. I don't want to do nothing wrong. I don't want to, and so your whole time of your singleness, you are focused on not falling, when this should be a blessed time. This should be a time where you are enjoying the Lord, where you are doing, you're traveling, where you're spending time with him, where you're walking and operating in purpose, not worrying about having premarital sex the whole time. I talk about the truth about purity, and I talk about the freedom that you have as singles to honor God and just do many things with him. And so, but each day you go through, you have prayer, and then you have kind of like the same setup. You have notes, you have devotional, and different different places where you can just reflect and all that good stuff. And I don't think I've ever read any inserts. So I believe you will have gained greater peace, insight into the protection of God and why his divine timing is important. Knowing this truth births divine intention within us and a desire to know the reason for the gift or season. When there is no understanding of the cause, a person is prompted to ask why. Depending on the culture you grew up in, it was not respectful for a child to question their parents. And as followers of Christ, you may have been taught not to question authority, especially God's, because he is just. For some, it is also viewed as accusatory, interrogative, or lacking faith in another's judgments. But it is important to know why you're asking why. Sometimes a person may ask why out of mistrust or lack of confidence in the instruction they have received. Other times, asking why may reveal a hint of rebellion and a desire to do the opposite of what has been asked. Fear, hurt, and impatience can also prompt someone to ask why. However, there are also times when someone may genuinely want to know and understand the situation better and determine if they're on the right track. So here I'm going into why asking why is not a bad thing. Okay, I don't want to give it away, but I'll read this part when, because you're going to get into when it says why, but I'm gonna let you read that. But remember that being single is not a failure, and our journeys are unique. For some, God may be using this time to heal emotional wounds and address issues of self-worth by drawing them closer to him. Remember that God desires the best for us, and he doesn't want you to settle for anything less than his perfect plan. Your season of singleness is not just a waiting period for a spouse, but rather a time designed specifically for your God-given purpose. Remember, he has something amazing in store for you. Feel encouraged. You're going to feel, because if your focus is already there, it's going to just reinforce what you're already doing. It's going to have you into prayer. Lord, what is your will? What is your plan now in this space? We're to be intentional. I asked that when I was working on a job. It wasn't just my good resume as a believer. It wasn't just my good work ethic. It wasn't just that they just wanted to promote me. Yes, all of that, had something to do with it, but ultimately it's because you had a greater plan. And so sometimes we can get into situations, or not even situations, just okay, in your state of singleness. It's sometimes all you can focus on is the limitations. That's why I also encourage those who are single that may have children in here in one section, because some of you may be like, okay, I don't have the freedom to just pick up and go to India, or go to Asia, or go here or go there. Or for you, money in the season may seem like it's a limitation, or all of these things are coming up that seems like a limitation. Or I'm going to take this away, or I'm going to take that away, or this program is going to go away, or that program is going to go away, or look, you don't have a car. All of these things that we call limitations is not a limitation. Even as a single, you can build something great for God. You can do something great for God. Why? Because you are partnering with him. That's why some people end up compromising. That's why some people end up going other routes, because they feel like I can't do it on my own, or I have to wait till I have this, or I have to wait till I have somebody. Some people have been told that they can't do nothing without a man, or a man feels as though he can't do nothing, without a woman, or without or without certain things. But God constantly proves those ideas and turns down those ideologies that keep us in bondage, that keep us stuck, that keep us mistrustful and not leaning on God and believing him help us. And so for the singles, I just go ahead and reiterate what he's saying, and what Paul has been sharing, and remind you that your time is not for when the prophecy is fulfilled. It's not for when a spouse comes, but your time is now.